think a really interesting thing about the culture here in Melbourne is that in the Parkville precinct, we've got 10,000 medical researchers working to create impact on people's lives, on the things that matter the most to us.
I believe that about 50% of Australia's innovation comes from this particular precinct that we're in today. And the reason for that is the connection between the universities, government and the hospitals.
You could describe Melbourne as a supercluster of innovation districts. We're positioning City North as a wellbeing innovation supercluster because we can draw on the sports tech coming from the south and the biomed coming from the northwest. And biomed, as we all know, is one of the top 10 of its type in the world.
Over recent years, the biotech pharma industry has increasingly moved out of research and so is increasingly interested in academic research, taking advantage of what happens within the universities.
Part of the challenge we've got is how do we take that phenomenal research and turn it into economic impact? That's where the startup sector has a role to play. We have over 2,700 startups and we're growing at 23% per annum. Our strongest strengths are in health sciences and health tech, including medtech, biotech, pharma and sports tech. And they're not only creating companies with massive economic impact, but they're creating companies that can help shape our communities.
Australia as a country is actually going through quite a dramatic economic change. We've had almost 30 years of economic growth, but our major exports are still things we dig out of the ground, whether they're agricultural or whether they're mineral. And many of the large employment sectors historically are no longer going to be major employers in the future. So our economy is going through a major transition. And overseas experience tells us that a lot of that transition, to be successful, will need entrepreneurs creating great new industries and great new companies.
So these brilliant minds who might have, traditionally just been in academia, there's pressure for them to really sort of step up and speak out and be showcasing the work that they're doing, but also to show that it's having an impact longer term. There is pressure to do that now.
The University of Melbourne recognises that it has a strong role to play in innovation. We've developed the biomedical precinct and we're now developing Melbourne Connect. Melbourne Connect is a city block, a whole precinct dedicated to putting together great minds, people across industry, the university, the startup community, and indeed the public through Science Gallery in one precinct, all focused on innovation.